Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for listening. My name is Adam Zhang, and our group will be presenting our analysis on entrepreneurial startups. The survival model is one familiar to most startups. They have taken the risk and focused on making long-term goals. The survival model means cutting costs, laying off employees, tightening profit margins, and saving cash, in stark contrast to the growth model, which a company reinvests profits, expands operations, and brainstorms growth strategies with long-term payoffs. The following checklist could determine whether a venture has what it takes for long-term survivability. Is the company at cash flow break-even? Can it tackle its growth initiatives with the existing staff? Does the company have existing cash or credit lines that can be used for growth? How an entrepreneur integrates into the industry, and how an implemented project might be shifted for long-term objectives will also factor into its long-term survival. When discussing the entrepreneur's sustainability, Saraswati points out that the nature of entrepreneurial ventures requires the enterprise to improvise and organize in accordance with changing customer expectations. On that subject, Melanie Perkins has said that in their plan to develop a sustainable enterprise, an innovative venture model would afford the startup flexibility. Also, as of the 2016 to 2017 financial year, Canva's earnings dramatically risen from 6.8 million to 23.5 million Australian dollars. Thus, the enterprise's profitability appears to be stable, if not growing in a positive direction. As for the long-term survivability of Canva, as long as its business model could retain adaptable in order to create, deliver, as well as capture value, it will remain its substantial hold over the portion of the graphic design market. And given the statements of founder and CEO Melanie Perkins, has demonstrated a comprehensive understanding of entrepreneurship under Saraswati's innovative, flexible business model and internal development principles.
Each group member researched an entrepreneur and examined the business models of each firm they oversaw. Each business model demonstrated a set of similarities that showed what made them successful, and a few differences to make them unique. A similarity between the business models provided by these entrepreneurs was their willingness to bring in key partners to provide knowledge that they may be lacking for key activities. In addition to that, these entrepreneurs provided high quality workspaces for these key partners to enable them to deliver high value to consumers. The innovation of key activities to keep their business model sustainable is also a major similarity for the entrepreneurs that we have studied. It has provided them an ability to maintain a competitive advantage over their competitors. The majority of entrepreneurs are similar, with investors providing the financing they need to make their venture successful. The exception is Matthew Hill, who relied on his financing and expansion of his company through the success of his products that he provided to his clients. One of the most significant similarities was the way that each business model from their respective entrepreneur identified unique ways of delivering value to their customers. This was done by each entrepreneur identifying a gap in the market and then devising a method of delivering value to their customers. For these entrepreneurs, the customer relationships are one of the most important facets for their company. A major emphasis is placed on developing and then maintaining customer relationships by ensuring constant value is delivered to the customer. A major difference was the way that some of the entrepreneurs approached the channels. Nabil Ahmed placed an emphasis on PR, working with influencers to develop his company's reputation. In comparison, Matthew Hill relied on the referrals that drew in new clients due to the high quality products they delivered to their customers. Lastly, another similarity between our chosen entrepreneurs was that they engaged in some form of research to determine which customer segments they would be targeting to deliver their products to. Therefore, the similarities between the business models of our chosen entrepreneurs focus on delivering value and ensuring that customer satisfaction remain at a high, while remaining innovative to ensure that they do not become outdated.
I'm Cassandra and I'll be presenting the characteristics of our entrepreneurs. In our reports, our group analysed the personality characteristics of each chosen entrepreneur. Although each was different, some prominent traits emerged across the board that we believe have helped to make them successful entrepreneurs. The three most prevalent traits in each case study are they were moderate risk takers, hardworking, and tenacious. First of all, each of our group members described their entrepreneur as a risk taker. For example, Melanie Perkins had no prior experience with software development when she established her company. She had to take the initial risk of entering a new industry when she began her venture. However, our group also identified that these entrepreneurs were not gamblers. The risks they taken were not aggressive but calculated. Matthew Hill claimed that identifying and calculating risks allowed him to avoid setbacks. Although it is necessary for entrepreneurs to engage with some risk, our research showed that the successful business owner will engage in thorough analysis to minimize the chances of failure, making them moderately risk tolerant. The second prominent trait in our entrepreneurs was a strong work ethic. We found that in order to build momentum around their new ventures, each entrepreneur had to commit a great deal of time and effort. Greg Moshe worked tirelessly as a sole trader in South Africa when starting his business, and Ahmed spent hours researching his industry so that he could create the best possible product. We believe that being a hard worker is pivotal to the success of your new venture, and that the best entrepreneurs, such as the ones we have discussed, possess a strong work ethic. Lastly, our group members also considered the importance of tenacity as a characteristic of entrepreneurs. The tenacious entrepreneur is persistent in their efforts and not easily dispelled by adversities, allowing them to continue towards success in their new venture. For example, Ahmed faced many months of failure when exploring business options before he eventually found a successful model. Without his tenacious attitude, Ahmed would likely never have grown his business. Moreover, Hill faced an extreme setback when being sued by his previous employer, which led to him having to find an entirely new customer base. Hill's resilience allowed him to persevere through adversity, and
I'm Said Sadban. I will be presenting the similarity and differences of our entrepreneurs. Each team members considered the key insights and looked for similarities and differences of our chosen entrepreneurs. We all got to know some interesting facts and stories of each entrepreneurs. Some common traits present in all the entrepreneurs are strong work ethics and each of them are hardworking. All the entrepreneurs are involved in upholding the goals and values of their companies. They have showed professional attitude towards their startups. Throughout the journey of all our entrepreneurs faced some challenges. My entrepreneur faced criticism of charging higher interest rates customers. Craig Moshe, founder of Prospa, faced hurdles for having a higher interest rate and later reduced the interest rate, but the changes had negative effects on the company. Tom's entrepreneur was sued by his previous employer, which did not allow him to contact with any of his clients. Later, the COVID-19 pandemic had significantly affected the business, but he utilized this time to create podcasts and use social media to keep in touch with the customers. Cassandra and Alan's entrepreneur faced lots of rejections and it took 3 years to meet the first investors and secure investments. Sakib's entrepreneur tried to start up different online business after dropping out from college, but it was a tough journey to reach the success of Verdabite. Despite facing hardships, all the entrepreneurs showed strong work ethics and determination, thus, they experienced success. Secondly, the entrepreneurs have identified the gaps in the market. My entrepreneur, Craig Moschel, identified that getting a loan from a bank is a very lengthy process for a small business. So, he came up with a creative solution of providing finance to small businesses. Cassandra and Alam's entrepreneur found out that students were struggling with software, so Perkin changed the complicated process and turned it into something easier. However, Sakib's entrepreneur had to compete with lots of digital marketing firms, but his research and effort on marketing has made the difference with the competitors. Each of our group members found out that strong work ethics and hard work were common in all of our entrepreneurs, and the difference were the same some of the entrepreneurs had previous experience. For example, Craig Moschel started his entrepreneurial journey by a laundry business and gain knowledge, whereas Nabil was completely new and did not have any experience. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Sakib Sami, and I would like to present our motivation and its impact on entrepreneurs. In our reports, we have seen each entrepreneur struggling in the early stages of life. Everyone had their own battles to fight, but their personal motivation helped them overcome their tough times. It is evident that for any company to scale, staying motivated is a key trait that a founder needs to have. We can see from Cassandra and Alan's report that Melanie Perkins' main drive of motivation has come off of her failure. Her struggles indicate one coming out stronger than ever as she proved all those investors who rejected to fund Canva that resilience can lead to eventual success. From Tom's report, we have seen that Matthew Hill's main source of inspiration comes from within the family, as his father holds a special place in his entrepreneurial abilities. His personal factors, behavior, and environment played a key role in the development of his entrepreneurial mindset. Role models tend to inspire many entrepreneurs around the world. Said wrote about Greg Moshal and how he stated in an interview that his entrepreneurial heroes are Jeff Bezos, Warren Buffett, and Elon Musk, as their work ethic have always continued to inspire him to become what he is now. On my report, we could see how Nabil Ahmed's main source of motivation came within himself, as he always pushed his limit to make the best of himself. His faith and resilient resistance against failure at earlier stages in his life helped him gain success. By analyzing all reports and seeing how each entrepreneur got their inspiration from, we can see there are unique ways on how they lifted themselves out of challenging times. However, there was one thing that all of the entrepreneurs had in common, which is passion towards success. Perkins' dedication to Canva to compete against the top companies in its industry, such as Adobe and Microsoft. Hill's passion and competitive nature changed the industry's outlook forever. Moshal helped create a positive impact on the society as he helped the poor and those who needed his services. Ahmed's passion and hunger of trying to become his own boss has helped him reach the heights he only imagined he'd achieve. In this report, we have assessed and presented our findings as we analyze the key insights from all of our written findings. We have reported the similarities and differences between each entrepreneur and therefore conclude that each individual has their own way to cope with struggles and success. Thank you.